Welcome back, A-listers. This is the week of June 28th. I'm
And
Francisco.
I'm Andres.
This is Put It on the List, where we discuss everything in entertainment and streaming. This week, we talk about a bunch of stuff we watched a lot. We expand our culinary minds with some cool food shows. Andres tries to not fuck up his 1 week streak of selecting good movies for our double features. Two nerds, one pod. Let's go. Andres, what's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going?
Another day, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm all right.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. You excited about today's show?
We got some cool stuff, man. I think we've got a couple biggies. We haven't had a real huge biggie in a while, as far as films go that we both watch at the same time.
Yeah, and we haven't even really talked offline.
No,
so we don't really know what we're gonna say. So cool beans. All right, we're gonna start with a little bit news and tidbits. First off, we talked a little bit before about Joker 2. Now we got Joker 2 with possibly Lady Gaga / musical.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, brother?
I'll wait till it shows up on HBO Max, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I knew I wasn't going to pay for the first one. It's just like, curious, but not like 2 hours of my time in a dark room with strangers paying money curious. How about you? Where you at?
I'm intrigued. I think here's the thing. I'm not a musical guy. Yeah. So that kind of like, it makes me kind of not want to dip my toe into the water per se, you know? Mm-hmm. But I do love me some Gaga, you know? Like, I think every time
you just saw her. You just saw her in the fashion film.
The Gucci. The Gucci movie. House of Gucci, yeah. She's great in that, you know? She was great in A Star is Born. So I have no complaints with her acting, you know? So it definitely adds a little twist. Something to keep an eye out, see how it goes, and we'll know how it looked after the first trailer arrives.
In like probably 2+ years. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I bet you Warner Brothers is gonna want to fast track it because they've been having some how do we call it? Some issues with some of their stars in the last month or so.
Personnel concerns.
Yeah. Their starting lineup is not looking so strong for a lot of their returnees.
They're trying to build up their bench. It's not a lot of free agents out there.
Yeah. So they're probably like, just give us something. Man.
Lady Gaga, how much money do you want?
You're going to hear the reverse. Yeah. It's a truck pulling up, dumping the cash on the fucking front lawn.
Will you do it for this amount? Yeah, so that's cool. Something to, put a little pin in it, you know. Next I got I don't think you've seen this. I'm not sure if you've seen the trailer.
Oh, I watched the trailer.
All right, Dark Winds.
Yeah, looks good.
It's a show. Yeah, it's a show on AMC Plus. It's a detective / thriller story on Native American land set in the 80s. I've watched one episode, and man, it's so good. It's cinematic. The acting's great. I mean, a lot of the actors you don't recognize. There's the main actor you do recognize, but because he's been in a lot of stuff. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but Dark Winds got renewed for season 2, which is cool because the first season hasn't even aired all the way, so they got high hopes for that. It's the caliber of show is pretty high.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm like, this looks really good. And the other thing with that, it had all these Scalped, the comic vibes, and I'm like, oh man, because they tried to make Scalped, and they made the pilot for that show, and it did not work out whatsoever. They didn't go forward with it. Yeah. And now we have this years and years later taking place, crime on a Native American reservation, where there's a lot of possibilities for just Crazy stuff. So I want to watch this show. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but it's definitely on my list. Dark Winds.
Dark Winds. It's more. I think you nailed it right on the head. It's more than Scout vibes. There's a little like, oh, this is familiar. Wink, wink. You
Okay.
know, like
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. So that
yeah. Scout is one of my favorite books of all time.
yeah,
So
Jason Aaron also wrote
yeah,
most of the Thor books that the current Thor are coming out really soon. They're all based on. So fingers crossed.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that
All
it's awesome.
right.
All right.
Yeah, it's good. All right,
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
gonna get into what we watched and the nitty gritty, some cool stuff. Um, spoilers ahead because we both watched this movie and we're gonna just break it
All right.
down.
What movie is it?
So, Doctor Strange of the Multiverse of
Woo.
Madness. Yes,
So
finally
yeah,
we got to watch it. It was on Disney Plus. If anybody wants to check it out, it's on there. You just got to stream it on Disney
it's
Plus.
on. I also has IMAX enhanced, whatever that freaking means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you got an 80-inch TV, IMAX it.
There you go. Hey, so yeah, starting now. Spoilers. We're just gonna let it rip. If you haven't seen Doctor Strange 2 already, uh, put a pin in this and come back to it later. But we
Yep.
gotta nerd out for a second here. And yeah, like Francisco said, we didn't talk about this before. We just said you watched it. Yeah, you watched it. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right, man.
You want to go
Yeah,
or
yeah. I want to hear your take on it first.
all right.
Yeah,
I watched it with
yeah.
Matthew, my kid, he's 15. Um First 30 minutes I had a rough time, bro. I had a rough time the first 30 minutes. And um combination of the wig on the guy in the wedding, looked like a helmet. I was like, what's going on, man? Is this the movie? And
How did you like
then
that opening monster?
see, that's another. That's why I was struggling with it because I'm like, well, the cars are real, but the monster doesn't look real. And have I seen this guy before? Was he? Is he? Do they pay this guy by movie? Because he was in another movie. It felt like this, sea creature with one giant eye. Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like, they kill them the same way. I'm like, with popping the
yeah.
eye. I'm like, what's going on here, man? Like, you guys gonna come up with your own shit? Um, so I had I was like, oh man, it's going downhill fast for me. And I know that they had to do a bunch of reshoots. So in my head, I'm going to attribute that to the reshoots. I got to say that once they got into um, the forest and definitely when Wanda uh, attacked the temple, I was like, oh yeah, now we're getting into the cool stuff. Like, it felt like two movies, that part, like the first
Yeah.
third of the movie. And after that, man, I could tell like Sam Raimi, it had all kind of Sam Raimi signatures, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cool." And I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed how s- scary it was. They had some scary moments, scary vibes. It was, like in the tunnel when they're doing in the sewage tunnel, and all you see is two red eyes. I'm like, "Ooh, scary hours right now." Wanda chasing them. I liked all of that. The ending I loved. Yeah, man. So the first third, I had a problem with it. After that, great. I enjoyed it. I let a lot of things go after that, just because I appreciate Sam Raimi and all the stuff that he brought to the table, and everybody else did a good job. The special effects. There was one other time where I was like, "Ooh," it threw me off. But other than that, I liked it. What about you?
First off, I gotta say, I'm really proud of you. Good. I agree with almost everything you're saying here. The first 20 minutes were a little like I thought it opened up too oddly and too strong for like nothing being explained. It was like, all right. And once you got past some of that odd stuff, and they had to get the whole like, are you happy thing from the bar? That's like the recurring question. I thought that was interesting. And once they got past all that awkward, like it was a little awkward in the beginning. Like, what kind of move are they trying to make
Yeah,
here? And then,
yeah,
but once like as soon as Wanda showed up, fucking rocket ship, and it just went,
yeah,
and it just went, and
yeah,
and they kept going. And like usually, like some films, like the third act, they're just on cruise control. Not this film.
yeah,
It just kept building and going, and I was like, Jesus, this is awesome. Like, I did
Yeah.
not expect it to be. I thought it was gonna be good because I've heard people complaining about it, but no, it's really good. This is probably the best, my
Yeah.
favorite personal Marvel film since Infinity War, maybe? I don't know. Like it's up there with like the level of entertainment with at least like Endgame and whatnot. So it was
Yeah.
really cool after a bunch of like Marvel films that were like good enough. Like they really went for it in this one. And like the last third, I was like, dude, Sam Raimi just took his like gloves off and just went to town. I was like, this is awesome. Like there was
Yeah.
so many moments. I was like, holy crap, holy shit. Like the camera moves and like it was nuts. The designs, like it was
Hmm.
there's some pretty scary stuff in there. And then on top of that, like the environments look fantastic. It got so dark and like trippy, like and they were gorgeous environments. I'm like, what is happening in this multiverse world? This one of the many, like it's called the multiverse. They went for it in the multiverse, like that sequence where
Yeah.
they're bouncing from multiverse to multiverse to multiverse, like when they were trying to lose
Yeah.
Wanda, I guess. That was
Yeah.
that was nuts.
Yeah. My favorite part, uh, that was nuts. Like visually, it had so many cool things,
Yeah,
and it was mind melting and everything. But one thing that amazed me that I was like, oh my god, they're doing this is like the fight between the Doctor Stranges with the musical notes. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like they're pulling these notes out of the music and like throwing them at each other, and I'm like, at moments it sounded like Fantasia,
yeah,
like when Mickey Mouse
yeah.
was doing the water thing, and I'm like, oh geez, this is
It was
crazy.
nuts.
It
It was so. I
it
was like,
was,
no way. I was like, what is
dude.
happening here?
Kudos to whoever came up with
They just
that
went
because
for it.
that was like one of the best fight scenes like in the Marvel universe.
It was
I love that. I love that part
and it's so cool because I'm gonna watch the last half of the film again. We might even do it today or tomorrow. Just
for
I just
sure.
got to get into it again. I'm like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
so damn entertaining. It's tight. Like it's one thing leads to the next thing leads to the next thing.
yeah.
And the bigger spoilers, like, all right, I'm gonna stop here and say for a second, thank you, internet, for fucking ruining some of the cameos that were gonna make it. I mean, I didn't watch any of this shit, but like some jerk off on like Instagram took like a bootleg picture of a bootleg version of the film and with their phone and put that on Instagram as like, hey guys, what do you think about this scene in a movie that's not been released to the public yet? And I'm like, thanks, shithead. So I saw like the John Krasinski thing. I'm like, I can't
Hmm.
believe this jerk off just posted a
Yeah,
bootleg picture to his stupid Instagram account. Like, what did you accomplish? And it just randomly showed up in a feed. I'm like, who are these assholes? So it's like, how
yeah.
did oh anyways,
Block them.
I don't know who that was. Yeah. So it's like, oh god, why? Anyways, but yeah, getting past that, the Peggy
How'd
Carter.
you feel about the Illuminati? Yeah, how'd you feel about that?
Honestly, it was like just the perfect amount. Like she went in there, you're like, oh damn, and then they all got murdered. You're like, oh damn,
They got murdered.
like
They got Mortal Kombat murdered. They
they
got
got
like
like the boys murdered.
finish.
Oh,
Yeah, they got, man, they did Mr. Richards wrong, man. I'm like, dang, they were going for it. And Wanda, man, she was killing, she was a little Darth Vadery, just popping necks and killing people. And man, she was out for
and,
murder. Nobody's gonna get in between her and her kids.
and I'm like, respect to Marvel for like, you know what, just go for it. Like they murdered a whole bunch of like Marvel characters. Granted, they were like multiverse alternate versions of themselves, like,
Yeah.
but they reintroduced them in a way. Like they introduced two Fox characters of
Mm-hmm.
Reed Richards and Xavier. So I was like, holy shit,
Mm-hmm.
it's happening. And then they're dead. And you're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, they're gone. And I had to
Yeah.
like explain to Christina because she saw the Xavier's floating wheelchair. She's like, that's the
Mhm.
dumbest thing. I'm like, no. That's from the 90s comic. That's like a perfect representation. She was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Giant Easter egg for all those nerds. We win again.
I oh
Yeah, and I
yeah,
and I agree with you as far as like the amount of time that we got with them because I'm glad they weren't a focal point.
yeah, yeah.
It was like, hey, here you guys go. And I'm like, yeah, and then they took them away, and you're kind of bummed out, but at the same time,
You got the
they move the
taste.
story
You got a
along.
little taste.
Yeah, yeah, get a little taste. You're like, I think I want some more, please.
Yeah, it was cool. And then I mean, he even said like, "We have a family." He's like, "Yes," and you're like, "Ooh, there's the other Fantastic Four," which is pretty cool. The other thing, I got to give a big shout out to Elizabeth Olsen. Man, she went places with that role. not just that, but she had to play multiple versions of that role,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
she had to like play against herself as like a protective, loving mother and like an evil, crazed person. And I was like, Jesus, like it was pretty
Yeah.
gnarly.
Like from that moment that she woke up in the living room of her house
Yeah,
and she just stood up and left the kids. I'm like, where's she going? Oh, she's gonna go straight up, just murder everybody, assassinate, murder, chop up, whatever you want to say, man. She just went Jason Voorhees on everybody, just kept coming and chopping them up.
yeah. So kudos to Morrow for this, not letting him hold back too much on that. So I was like, oh man, Benedict Cumberbatch, solid as always. Wong, always great to have him in all the Marvel
He was
films.
funny.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, other people to give out shout outs to. I mean, it looks great. Most of the effects.
How'd you feel about America Chavez and that character?
I think she was fine. She was fine.
Monkey wrench.
I did. They did. They honestly didn't give her much to do except run for like the first like 95%
Yeah.
of the film, and she did that just fine.
Yeah.
And it kind of ended a little. I like the ending, how they resolved everything. I was like, all right, that felt pretty good. Like there was some gnarly stuff. Like it was cool. Like there
Yeah.
was some really like, the design wise. There's so many clever things you don't even see. Like when she punches a wall on accident, it turns into like that star portal thing. Just but it's not a portal. It's just like
Hmm.
a design in the background. Like oh damn.
Yeah. I think I wanted a little bit more backstory from her, just so I can get invested in her story
Yeah.
arc. But other than that, I think the actress did well, and we'll see how they incorporate her moving on,
Yeah. She's
and
great. I think yeah.
because they're gonna have to use
Yeah.
her.
I think she's gonna be dude. She's great. I think in that world. So I'm like, it's also one of the first Mexican actresses we've seen in a Marvel film. So I even told Christina, I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking dope. And she was speaking Spanish.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right. And they're speaking.
I don't know how accurate that Spanish is, my guy. I think I heard like one or two words that were like, "Oh, okay, that is Spanish." Because before that, I was like, "What, Mama Jumbo? What? What are we doing?" That was not, that shit was in Spanish. I'll go back and rewind it to be accurate, but I'm like, that was like Spanglish was mixed with ass language. I don't know what that was.
You're talking about
So
the opening sequence. Yeah, it was a
yeah,
little awkward.
or yeah, when she was talking to somebody Wang or somebody, and she's talking
Oh, that's right.
and they're like "este way." That's the only thing she said. It was Spanish. I was like, "What's the rest of the language?"
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, the highlights were like the attack on that temple, like they did not pull punches. The murder of the Illuminati did not pull punches. The very end, when they were like, what he ended up doing was pretty gnarly. Like it got very Harry
Yeah,
Potter-ish, like with some of those dark arts and like crazy stuff. I was like, this is dope. Like they're paying it off.
yeah,
I don't know what else to say. I mean, this film is like
oh yeah.
outside of the first half. No, no, sorry. First like 20, 30 minutes, super watchable.
Third of it. Hmm.
As soon
Yeah,
as you get to Mwanda, like her in like the little
the
flower
forest and
grove,
all.
whatever, it
Yeah,
just takes off and it's super like it just goes. This would have been so much fun to watch like on a giant IMAX screen.
yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just um that first bit threw me off, but after that, man, I was happy with
It,
it.
it,
I,
go ahead.
no, that was it
Yeah,
for me.
I was super happy, and I'm super happy to have it just on Disney Plus, accessible at any time because it's going to be
Hmm.
super rewatchable. It's staying on the list for a little while because I want to check it out again. Any other parting words for Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness?
It's gonna be interesting how they move on, and if my guy's gonna keep his third eye on, and,
That was a
and
fun,
what they
that
do.
was a fun Sam Raimi thing.
Yeah.
All right,
All right. Moving
moving on
on.
to the next thing.
Moving something else that we watched and we finished. Proud of us. Obi Wan Kenobi. All 6 episodes aired on Disney Plus, and all 6 episodes have been watched.
Let's just before we go a little bit further into Obi-Wan, we will be getting into spoilers. So just so you know, spoilers. Here we go. Obi-Wan.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions, gripes.
Maybe we should start with gripes. Cause oh man,
Yeah.
it's so many. I'm just like almost at a loss of words for trying to explain the show that made essentially no sense and characters that had no purpose or story.
Mm,
They had 6 hours to establish some kind of a story or an idea or a purpose for most of this stuff, and they didn't really do that. And I thought
mm-hmm.
it was cool the first 2 episodes, and the 3rd episode got a little, like, clunky. Then the 4th episode just totally shit the bed. And it's like, where are they going with this? 5th episode didn't improve. And it ended okay on the 6th episode. I'll say I'll talk about a couple highlights real quick. I'm happy to say on the 6th episode, I think they finally hired a fight choreographer for the Vader Obi Wan fight because damn, everything else is just like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
And that was a pretty cool fight. It could have been done a little differently, a little bit, I don't know, more purposeful, but and why character wise, he knows like his best friend's technically dead at this point. And that's the whole reason he was trying to like not kill him, or he had a chance to kill this new Vader guy. Why not just take him out? Like, why just be like, damn, and walk away? Like, why not just finish the fight? He probably just ensured the death of thousands of people just by walking away. So, but
Yeah.
other than that, I got more nitpicks, but you go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Uh, I agree with you with the fight. I love that was the best part of the 6 hours.
Yeah.
That little tip.
Yeah.
The only thing is that it was aggravating because I just wanted to see the fight, and they needlessly cut away to go show Reva struggling, running after Luke, baby Luke or young child Luke, and I'm like, why is she fucking running? She just got stabbed through her body with a lightsaber. I guess it's not that bad to
Twice.
get.
She's been stabbed twice.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. So the fight was good. I wish they wouldn't have cut away. Everybody wanted to see the fight. That was the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
The whole point of the show was to have a vessel for us to have the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. It's like a tostada, man. You put the toppings in the tostada, they don't really matter, man. It's just like shove it in there. You eat it. You eat the tostada and you put the stuff on top. The stuff on top is a fight. And man, I don't know, dude. It was a little counterintuitive for its own good, you know, like why are we doing this? Why are we cutting away from the best thing of the show? And I don't know. Other than that, I'm glad I'm not like a super big Star Wars fan. So I'm not like, you know, super devastated that
Sure.
this show sucked.
I,
but I feel bad for everybody that was been waiting for this for years and it wasn't that great. And it's like this is an example of fan service gone
yeah.
wrong, you know, where you can do better than this. So Disney, you got to step it up, man.
What sucks is of all the announced like shows, I'm like Obi Wan is the one I was the most like into. I'm like, all right, they're gonna get Ewan McGregor back. Like I'm in. Like I don't know what you're gonna do. It should be like halfway there. You're halfway there. Just having him come back because he's fucking awesome, great actor, and his character's cool. But at the same time, like you were saying, like as a fan, I'm a fan, but I didn't like. I'm like, I'll dip my toe back into it because I don't trust that they're gonna do the right thing, and clearly they did not.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I think the smart thing I did is not go to any of the forums because I'm curious how many fans out there were like, "Shut up! It's the most amazing thing." And other people are like, "It's the worst thing." Like I'm staying, like the Star Wars fandom could be just
Mm,
toxic, and I'm like, I'm not getting. I
yeah.
just don't get into any of that. Like, but
Yeah, me either.
so I'm like, oh. But I understand the frustrations. Like, how do you have a template? Just follow the basic templates. Get like some characters in
Hmm.
there, make them interesting, shoot it well, throw some lasers and some light swords, and you're good.
Hmm.
But they didn't do that.
Yeah. And it's kind of, and it's easy for them to say like, oh, there's a no win situation, but you've got some W's under your belt, man.
Yeah,
It's called Mandalorian. It's called Mandalorian,
yeah,
you know, and that's a big W. So
yeah,
obviously, there's somebody there
yeah,
um at the Disney Studios and Star Wars that knows what they're doing and stuff. So we just got to get on the same page and get the right story going for everybody.
yeah. I don't get it.
So yeah,
But I mean,
yeah, me either.
story wise, like the Reva character, I scratched my head so many times. Like we even stopped the show to me and Christina were talking about like why is she doing anything again? And we were like stretching and trying to like pull story out of no story. Like maybe she's doing it because of this. I was so confused. Like the Reva character, her whole thing for revenge. She wanted like 10 years worth of revenge on Darth Vader. Her master plan was to work and serve Darth Vader, murdering innocent people just like Darth Vader did to her, like her and her friends was supposed to somehow get revenge on him. And then her master plan at that point was to stab him, but instead of like getting help from the one guy who cut all his arms and legs off, when he offered to help her, she said, "No thanks, I'm good." And her master plan was to like walk up from behind Darth Vader and just like stab him in the back. That was her master 10-year revenge plan. Not like wait for him to be like taking a Jedi nap or something. Not for him taking a bath. Not for him to be like getting a little tune up. Not like nothing. Just walk up to him in the middle of stab in the back. And crazy enough, didn't work. Like what is happening here? Like what is her motivations? Is she just anyways? Made zero sense. They didn't even try to make sense. I just kind of like, all right. We're not even talking about the little poor actress that played Princess Leia. She had
Yeah,
a rough go of it, but I don't even know if it's her fault because the dialogue was so terrible.
yeah. I think I'm done trashing the show.
Yeah, I just
You know what I'm saying? It's like it is what it is. I watched it. I'm like, I don't know how many more of these Star Wars shows I'm gonna watch.
I'm really hoping
Maybe just the Mandalorian. I don't know.
I'm really pulling for this Andor show because it looks actually interesting.
Andor.
Andor, it looks interesting. So, and they got a
Yeah,
bunch of great writers. Fingers crossed. Obi Wan off the list. Not a rewatching type show whatsoever. Like,
yeah,
it sucks, but hey, oh, I mean, it sucks that it's not like we watched Mandalorian a couple times. Like, it's really entertaining and great stuff. But Obi Wan,
yeah. I think
not so much.
I think the only way I would watch some of this Obi-Wan stuff to get again is somebody on the internet would cut together all the Darth Vader and the Obi-Wan Kenobis together, and that's the only way I would watch it.
It's like
And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
there's definitely a good hour and a half in there somewhere. But man,
Yeah.
like there is some stuff where they weren't even trying. Like that one scene with the rebel. She's like the undercover wet rebel when they capture her at
Oh
the
yeah.
base,
Mm-hmm.
and they're walking in with like two stormtroopers. And how does she
Mm-hmm.
escape? She literally turns around and slaps a stormtrooper, and he falls to the ground, and she just kind of like walks off screen. That's how she escapes from being captured by we were just like, we had to rewind it because we were just like, did that just happen? There were so many
Yeah.
moments where we had to rewind it, asking, did they just do that? Like, oh my god. Anyways, but yeah, I'm with you. Done trashing it. Moving on to bigger other things. So yeah, want to move on?
Yeah, we sure will. Next, we got Umbrella Academy season 3. I've watched 2 episodes.
I watched one and a
You
half.
have watched
One and a half.
1.5. So we're early in the season,
Yeah.
and I'll start off with saying that the beginning was amazing, and I was like, man, I love the show for being weird, just being weird and being itself. Not being self conscious about who it is. And like I love the
It
weirdness
owns
of
it,
it,
yeah.
and I'm here to watch it. We'll see how the story develops, but I'm here for the weirdness. So
Yeah, this is a
that's all I got.
non-spoilery simple it's only 2 episodes in, there's not a lot to spoil. So
Yeah.
the it's a little the first like 10 minutes I was like just grinning ear to ear, smiling. I loved it. I was like, "Oh my god, are they doing this? They are doing this."
Hmm.
I thought it was awesome. And it looked great. Everyone was like back in form. I was like, "This is awesome."
Hmm.
And it ended a little then it kind of mellowed out. Then it ended kind of interesting. And then the second episode started to pick up a little bit. Like I'm curious what the big picture is. Like it's starting to develop. Like they're still putting all the pieces on the board and starting to develop. And it's totally interesting. And I'm in. I'm excited to keep finishing it. But but yeah, so no spoiler. It's really good so far. There's a,
Yep.
there's a lot of pieces in play, and they're doing it.
There's 8 more episodes. I think there's 10 total.
Yeah, so I'm digging it so far. And the cinematography and the set designs are so good still. Like the hotel, no spoilers, but like
Hmm.
one of the little sets is like it looks so good. Like it's
Yeah.
fantastic, and all the acting's great. So
Yeah.
Academy, yeah, season 3 on Netflix, top
Yeah.
of the list right now.
Yeah. Put it on the list. All right. Another thing to put on the list, guys. Um, The Bear on Hulu, starring Ian Michael White, better known as Lip on Shameless. Have you seen that show? Um, the premise is this guy. He's a Ian. His character's name is Carmen, or they short Carmy. They call him. He's a young chef, and he's worked in a Michelin star restaurant. He's been awarded best new chef. He has to cut his bigger aspirations short because there's tragedy in the family, and he goes and takes over for the family restaurant run by his brother. His brother uh, is dead, and he takes over. And it's basically it. 8 episodes, 20 to 30 minute episodes. They fly by, and
How fast did you watch them all?
uh,
Just say it.
I paid for it today, but I I watched all 8 episodes yesterday, guys. No judging, please. Safe space, safe space. But I did watch all 8 episodes yesterday. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't. I like everybody went to bed, and I'm like, and I had to go to bed because I had to wake up early. And but I was like, just one more. I would look at the runtime. I'm like, oh, this is 2 minutes less than the last episode. I'm gonna watch another one. Oh man, they left it like that. Oh, I gotta watch another one. Next thing you know, I'm on the last episode. Might as well just watch it all. And man, it paid off. There's some pretty cool spoilers in there that I will not share with
Mhm.
everybody, but pretty cool stuff going on. And I just love the show. I was thinking about this show all day today
Wow.
at work, and I'm like, man, I'm like,
Is it because of
I started,
the relationships of the people in there, or is it just the situations of like the restaurant
yeah,
and
the restaurant, we're you and I are foodies in some ways, and the restaurant, the food, the relationships between family and staff, and getting past the situation that they're in, and just the stress of not only life but having to work and like dealing with everything that goes with that,
so it sounds like they did a good
so
job capturing the authenticity of just people.
yeah, yeah. And when you watch it, I got some big ideas that I need to share with you. I'm
Okay.
like, man, it's like this,
Yeah.
and because like I said, I was thinking about it all day.
Yeah.
And The Bear on Hulu,
Yeah.
check it out,
I
guys.
saw the trailer.
One of the best shows this year. Go
I
ahead.
saw the trailer maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I have never heard of this, but it looks really good. I like the visual
Yeah,
styles they developed and
yeah,
the visual language of like the workspace. It looked so good. I
yeah,
was like, "Jeez." And I looked at it, I'm like, Hulu. I'm like, shit, I don't got Hulu. But coming up in maybe a couple of weeks, I'm gonna get Hulu because Prey is coming on Hulu exclusively. So
yeah,
you're damn right I'm gonna get at least a month or two of Hulu just to watch that. So I'm
yeah,
excited.
yeah. And as someone that's worked in a kitchen before, in a few kitchens professionally, I gotta say it has that feeling. It has that feeling.
Yeah.
You have people that you're close with, and you have people that you can't stand, and you don't like their work, and you don't, like you're like, oh, that fucking shit bag, or whatever,
You look at
or
this
that guy
you
never.
look at the schedule, and you're like, I'm working with this is gonna be a rough week.
Oh, that guy doesn't fucking clean the station. He's a fucking slob. But anyways, so there's a little bit of that, but man, it just builds on relationships and how, not how, but it shows you how everything can build and stress, and you try to deal with it the best you can, one day at a time.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll talk about it later. Maybe we'll do a longer episode when I get to finally watch it in a
Yeah,
couple weeks.
yeah, we'll touch
Yeah,
back.
there's just so many things on the list right now. I'll
Yeah,
get to it.
no, for sure.
All right, get into it. All right, next one.
Uh,
What do we got?
Next thing we got a little film on Amazon Prime. I Want You Back, starring Charlie Day, and do you remember the actress's
Jenny
name?
Slate?
Jenny Slate. Yeah, yeah, and she's. It's funny. I love whenever she shows up because I remember her from Parks and Rec, and she played Sean Ralphio's messed up sister, and but I Want You Back. What are your thoughts of romantic comedy?
Romantic comedy on Prime right now. I saw the trailer. I'm
Hmm.
like, wait a minute. For the most part, whenever I see Charlie Day on screen, I just start laughing. Then I want to know what's he doing, and I saw this, and I saw Jenny Slate in it, and Jenny Slate is an actress who's mostly known for her voice work. She's done
Mm-hmm.
like I think she started with Marcel the Shell was her big breakthrough, and then she did Zootopia and some other stuff, but she did live action roles too. And dude,
Mm-hmm.
her like Charlie Day's a powerhouse for funny. Like I just look at Charlie Day, I start
Mm-hmm.
laughing, but she holds her own, and
Yeah.
she's hilarious. So that put those two together, and that's such a good pairing. I
Mm-hmm.
thought, damn it, I almost forgot. I Want You Back, romantic comedy. I liked it a lot. I was super into it. We were both laughing our asses off. And what I
Mm-hmm.
appreciated, there's almost no cheap laughs in the whole thing. The whole thing is
Mm-hmm.
really well written from the characters felt authentic. They were a little messed up. You got to be a little crazy to get your own film, to make it interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
everything just felt like pretty damn I don't know, authentic and like those situations that they got themselves into and how they're trying to get themselves out of it and how the towards the end, like especially like the realizations that they pulled from their experience. I'm like, damn, that was good. Like I just thought it was a great film.
Yeah, it was great. We watched this movie, and like you said, it was a nice change of pace, romantic comedy. Um, Jenny Slate and Charlie, they played it perfect off each other. Um, she's she definitely held her own. Her character is so oblivious to some things, and it was hilarious, you know. And everybody that all who's the hot guy? Is it Chris
No,
Evans?
it's Scott Eastwood,
Scott Eastwood. Yes,
Clint
yes, yes,
Eastwood's
yes.
son. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And who's the hot guy? Anyways, um, yeah, everybody did a bang up job,
even yeah,
and
Scott Eastwood did a great job. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and it made everyone every character in the film was human. There was no like filler or ridiculousness. Like every
Mm-hmm.
single person had like they just all
Mm-hmm.
felt like normal people going through some stuff, and it was really nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice movie.
Yeah, great. So I Want You Back on Prime. Just looking for something like romantic comedy. It's a comedy, I would say would qualify for. It's funny. It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's
So
good.
yeah,
Amazon
there you
Prime.
go.
All right. Next, we got a segment. It's gonna be a few shows, and we're gonna talk a little bit about each one. But this is cooking shows. We all love cooking. I mean, most of us. But Andres and I love cooking,
Yeah.
and we love cooking shows. So we got a few recommendations for you guys.
Actually, I want to
Uh,
tell the viewers just the funny shit that they don't know is me and you will send videos of like what we're cooking to each other sometimes. We'll be like, look at these caramelized onions. You see that shit? Oh shit. Like all sorts
yeah,
of
you
like
see how I toasted the top. You see how I toasted the top of that cheese. Oh yeah, it's so
that's
gooey.
goat cheese right
Yeah,
there, motherfucker. Yeah.
that's some good
So
cheese.
yeah, we send and talk about food quite often because we both love to cook. So we figured we get into some cooking shows just
Yeah,
because they just keep popping up and we never talked about 'em on the show. And if people out there interested in cooking or just want to sit and geek out about food and appreciate it, here's some
yeah,
fun ones for you guys.
yeah.
All right, what you got?
First one we're gonna go with real quick is somebody feed Phil,
Netflix.
starring Phil Rosenthal. He's a business guy in the movie and show industry. He's a executive producer of
Everyone loves Raymond.
Everyone loves Raymond. Yeah, this guy, man, it's a travel and a leisure and food show. So he travels around the world and tries different foods, and he has a fun, nice time. That's like how I put it. He likes to have a. He's a nice guy having a nice time, looking at different things.
It's a total feel good show. Like he's just laughing and smiling and being kind to like everyone he comes across. It's like such like a it's just a feel good show, man. It's so easy. And I think there's like I
Yeah.
can't remember if this is the third season or the fourth season. And it went on a long
Mm-hmm.
hiatus because of COVID, but now he's back. And
Mm-hmm.
it's each season's like 5 episodes, and he goes to like a city. Like he goes to like Portugal. I'm trying to think Madrid, Spain. He goes to Portland. They help Maine. The Maine's really fun. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just goes all over the world, different places. Just meets like the people behind the food, who are the people who make the food, who are the people who like
Mm-hmm.
produce the food out in the fields, like grow the stuff, who everything. And he just goes to like different settings and just gets into everyone and just talks to them like people. And they sit there and just appreciate the food and some of the stuff. I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, I want to eat. all of it.
Yeah. So that's one show. We got another show
Yep.
coming at you. Iron Chef on Netflix. There's a new set of Iron Chefs, and it's an original Netflix show. And the whole season is on Netflix right now. I've watched the whole season, by the way. I don't know how many episodes you watched. If you just watch one, or
I almost watched the first one. Just I was trying to, and I was trying to watch it when I was doing a little something else on the side, and it's so like go 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 go. I started to lose track of everything, so I had to like I'm gonna save this for later when I can actually
yeah,
sit
you
and
need to
watch
pay
it again.
attention. Yeah,
Because like you're like, what just happened? Like, wait, he has a blowtorch. What is he blowtorching? Wait, what's he doing? Like it's like
yeah,
it's so fast.
yeah. And if you guys don't know, Iron Chef is a competition show where they have high end chefs challenging the elite of supreme Iron Chefs to see who can come up with a better what would you call it?
A selection of dishes within a short period of time that they have to share ingredients of.
Yeah, they have the same secret ingredient, and they come up with their own
Spins, yeah.
dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun. It's
So
fun.
it's fun, and like the last episode, they're gonna have whoever did the best during the season goes up against all the Iron Chefs on the last episode, and to see if there's a Grand Master Iron
Oh,
Chef. And so yeah, so it's 1 against 5 in the last episode.
oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so it's a high pace, a lot of action for cooking, and some of it's a little over the top, the theatrics of it, but like the food is, you're not gonna see food like this, and like the way they describe their dishes, you're like, wow, you could just wanna, you wish you could taste the stuff that they put on the plate. All right, next we got Rick Stein on Prime.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this show,
Okay.
so please share.
Yeah, I don't even know how we came across this. Like in 2020, we just ended up watching just a whole bunch of like travel slash food shows just to kind of like calm things down. It's gonna be okay. Kind of situation. We came across Rick Stein as one of them, and this guy Rick Stein owns a whole bunch of restaurants across Europe and Australia. He's essentially a chef slash entrepreneur, and he's also a big fan of like food. So in his show, he'll like fly to like Berlin for a weekend. He'll just land and he'll just go eat at a bunch of places. And what he does, which is really cool, is he'll have a dish that he really likes, and it'll break back to like his home. He'll sit there and he'll cook the dish for you, like his style. And there's probably like 2 or 3 different dishes that he's cooked over the years that I've done myself. Like just watching him, like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like. Well, that's a good idea. I'll take notes, and then right afterwards, I'll cook those dishes like later that evening, just randomly, and it's worked out really well. And he's just a really happy-go-lucky dude who's just super appreciative and happy with all the ingredients that he gets to do and all these places he gets to go. And he's enjoys like glasses of wine, like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. The guy's been around for a long time, so he understands the in and out of food and restaurants and hospitality. So he goes to this, he really breaks it down for you. It's just really enjoyable. So
That's
that's on
cool. I'm
Prime.
looking forward to checking it
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
And he just goes all over the place. It's super easy to watch.
yeah. You got 2 more on here,
Yeah.
and I'm not familiar with either one,
Okay.
so this is gonna be all you. It's time for you to cook right here.
Yeah.
My greatest dishes
That
on Prime.
so Amazon Prime. Here's the thing. I don't think Amazon Prime actually produced any of these. I think they just buy them from like the BBC or something. So that's why I just have a whole pile of cooking shows, and they all turn out to be pretty good. My greatest dishes is where they take 10 episodes. Each episode is one chef, and they talk about like they make 3 dishes that they're famous for or they really love themselves. Sometimes it's super simple. It's like a pudding that their mom made for them when they were a kid. They take it and make it the best they could possibly be. Like they all level it up because they're all like generally Michelin star chefs. So it's like you get to learn and see their techniques, and they keep it simple. It's 3 dishes and they break it all down for you, and you can understand. There's a lot of stuff like I don't think I'd eat that, but that's really cool to know that. And it's shot really well. Like the production values are super high. And surprisingly, the one that really like whoa blew us away was Prue from Great British Bake Off. She has an episode. It turns out she's a badass chef, and they really go into her history of like she started catering when she was like 19, and they have like black and white pictures of her and her little tiny mini, her old school Mini Cooper in London, just trying to make sandwiches
Mhm.
for like different people, and how she grew that into her
So she's
empire.
not a stay-at-home chef. She's not a home cook.
No, she started her own huge catering business when she was like a kid, and she just grew it, and she's
Damn,
And
no wonder.
yeah, and I was like, my respect for her totally grew. I was like, wow. And
Yeah,
she's legit, and she just makes a bunch of, like, really fun dishes, and she's like,
yeah,
she makes a soup, and it's super simple, but it's, like, gorgeous how she does it, and you're like,
yeah,
"Damn." So there's a bunch of recipes that are they're all totally doable, they're all really interesting, and it's fun to just
yeah.
watch and just listen to all these great chefs talk about them. So that's my greatest dishes on, Prime.
Cool, cool. All right, moving on. New to the list, we got a couple entries, and they're actually both on Netflix right now. So check them out. The first one is Sing Two, the sequel to the first one. What? How long ago did that come out? Like 3 years ago.
Like 3 or 4 years.
Anyway, it's an animated movie,
Yeah.
and it's cool for kids. It's got a lot of singing and dancing, and yeah, I'm excited. I mean, my little one's excited to see it, and we're gonna check that out.
You haven't watched Thing 2 yet?
No.
Oh, okay, I thought for some reason you were gonna watch it. I think that's on the list for us tonight.
Oh yeah, cool.
Christina saw it listed on the Netflix homepage. She's like, "Oh my god, we're watching." I'm like, "Yeah," because we the first movie. I expected it to be not. I thought it was gonna be another
Mm-hmm.
throwaway movie, and we were
Yeah,
watching it. Like, this is actually really, really well done. Like the camera moves, the
yeah,
choreography, the lighting, the animation. Like this is
yeah,
legit. And
yeah,
and as it goes on further, like this is actually really good, and it's just a super entertaining film. I think we watched it like at least twice.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
I like the first one a lot
yeah,
too,
it's
and
funny.
this one should. Yeah, yeah. It is funny. The little lizard lady, secretary lady.
Yeah,
I remember her eyeball would go all over the
yeah.
place. It makes me crack up every time. I'm a simple guy.
Yeah, I it
Okay.
yeah. I'm excited to watch it. I think it's gonna be a fun film.
Yeah, yeah. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to see what needle drops they have because they have, it's a music movie, so they do a bunch of famous songs. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, next on the to add to the list, we got God's Favorite Idiot, starring Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone. The premise is that this guy gets selected by God somehow, and he's uh dealing with that with day to day in regular life, and people find out that he's gifted or something, and it's a comedy, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it looks funny to me. I like Melissa McCarthy, and I love when she goes on her little rants. Like it feels like she's just like freestyling just off the top of her head when she goes off on people. And on the trailer, they showed a little bit of that, so I'm looking forward to her doing some shit talking to some of these people.
Yeah, she could be hilarious. I haven't seen the thing for this, but you're gonna have to let me know if it's any good. The last Melissa
Yeah.
McCarthy thing on Netflix was that superhero show. I
Oh,
think we got maybe 15 minutes in, and we're like, we gotta turn this off. Like
I didn't watch it.
it's embarrassingly bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to say.
I just go back to Bridesmaids.
Yeah. It's a whole
Whenever.
it's a whole lot of meat right here.
Oh yeah, and it's actually Ben Falcone. I think is a real life husband.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
played the
He played the security
he
guy.
played the air
Yeah,
marshal
yeah.
in Bridesmaids. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in it.
So
They're in a lot of stuff together.
yeah. So anyway, so God's Favorite Idiot on Netflix, and then both of these are already on. So check it out when you get a chance.
All right, what we got
All right,
next?
man.
Here we go.
All right, we've come to the double feature portion of the show where we talk about we do a pair. We select a movie. We have a topic. The topic this week is awkward pairing or co-stars, right? Like people you wouldn't think that are gonna be compatible, right? All right, and it's my turn to
Yeah,
go first
yeah,
this week.
yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm
You ready?
excited.
Good. All right, here we go. I'm gonna show you how not to blow it. Okay.
Oh, big words, big man.
And here we go. Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh,
All right,
interesting.
1996.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson. I mean, come on. You couldn't pick two people more different than these two people. And man, this is just a solid, badass movie. And I remember watching this in the theater. We're like, damn. I said, I came out like, I like this movie. Da, da, na, na, na. I think I want to watch it again. Da-da-na-na-na. You know, like how he sings
Oh yeah.
"Bad to the
Don't
Bone."
fuck with Mitch.
Man,
Dun, 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 dun. He's got a gun. Dun, 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 dun. Gonna kick some ass. Dun, 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 dun.
and this movie had plenty of laughs. You know, they had plenty of jokes, and Gina Davis, man, she was on point on this one, and everybody, all the acting and stuff, and uh, yeah, man, I love this movie.
So this movie was written by Shane Black, who also
Yeah,
wrote the
yeah,
Lethal
sure
Weapon
is.
film. So he has a darker sense of humor,
Yeah,
and it usually lands. Like, and this film is legit funny. Like, there are some parts in this movie that I'm like, that should not be funny at all, and are
yeah,
hilarious. I
yeah.
I love this movie. I'm a huge fan. I love this pick. That movie just it doesn't get old. Like, there's so many cool parts to it.
No,
There's a couple things here and there that are a little cheeseball, but overall, like,
yeah,
I let all of it go. Like, this movie is especially towards the end when it starts picking
yeah,
up. You're like, this is badass. Like,
yep.
there's some shots in there. It is directed by Rennie Harlan, who was married to Gina Davis at the time. So
Mm,
that was like another fun thing. Rennie Harlan did Die Hard 2, I think, before this, in Fort Fairlane. So that guy is good at directing action.
yeah.
They went on to
Die Hard, Die Hard 2, not one of my favorites.
no, not at all. I remember sitting in the I was so excited when Die Hard 2 was coming out, and like maybe halfway through, I'm like, this is kind of not the same.
No. Did they hire an editor for that movie? I'm
Uh,
like, who's editing this shit? Is he fucking drunk at the wheel? What's going on?
it's its own. If it was just not called Die Hard, it would have been fine, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, Long Kiss Goodnight. Samuel Jackson is so good. The whole thing, even what's his name,
Yeah.
Brian Cox, I think, who they run into later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good
Brian
together.
Cox.
He's hilarious. He's straight faced
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. It's good.
And in classic Shane Black style, there's a kid, and it takes place during Christmas. If you look up Shane Black, like have his films
Yeah.
take place during Christmas, and there's a kid.
Christmas movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But yeah, One Kiss Goodnight's awesome. Like I got nothing bad to say about that awkward pairing.
All right. And what do you got, buddy?
All right, I'm gonna go way before that. This was like when they first announced it, you were like, wait, what? This was in the late '80s
Mm-hmm.
when Schwarzenegger was at the height of being Schwarzenegger. Twins,
Okay.
twins.
Twins. Wow. I seen this once, I think, when I
What?
was
Oh man, I think we like
when it came out
yeah.
at the drive-in.
Schwarzenegger was a household thing growing up. So like him
Yeah.
doing a comedy was like, wait, what? And
Yeah.
directed by Ivan Reitman, came out in 1988. Like Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters, come on, man. And Danny
I don't
DeVito,
remember the plot. I don't remember the plot. I don't remember
Arnold
hardly
Schwarzenegger,
anything.
and Danny DeVito came from like the same embryo, not realizing it. Where
Mm-hmm.
all the good went into Schwarzenegger and all the bad went into Danny DeVito. And they got separated. They didn't know they had like a brother. So
Mm-hmm.
those hiring the most opposite two people, and Schwarzenegger playing comedy. Like he has like comedy quips here and there. This is his first big comedy. So it's kind of like a big marketing thing alone. It's like, all right. And they hired all the right people. And for the most part, I think they did a great job. And this film, it had like a budget of like less than $20 million in the 80s. And it went on to make like 200+ million, which is like huge back in the day.
Yeah.
That'd be like
Yeah.
$1 billion comedy now.
Yeah. Man, I love Danny DeVito
Yeah.
and Arnold. I mean,
Yeah.
I love both those guys.
Yeah.
So
And them together is
I'm sure
hilarious.
it's hilarious. Yeah, I'm sure them together is hilarious. I have to go back and revisit.
You
Like
should.
I said,
You should watch it with
I
the family.
is it a family movie?
I think so. There's like one part where it's a little sexual, but they don't show anything. It's pretty much like a PG.
Yeah. Okay.
I was pretty excited for this movie.
PG or Indiana Jones PG, because that's just fucking violent.
And fucking, there's no hearts being ripped out. There's some violence, but I think it's all off screen. I think there's a couple people getting punched.
Yeah.
I think there's like some threatening kind of thing, but nothing
Yeah.
really. But it's pretty funny. You got a young David Caruso shows up for a few scenes. Like
Yeah.
it's a pretty funny movie. Danny DeVito is just a little shit. You know what I mean? Like he plays that
Yeah.
part so well. Like it's so perfectly fun.
All right, man. Looking forward. This is a good pick by you, sir.
Yeah, you too. Shit.
All right.
All right.
What would go first, you think? What would go first?
Oh, dude, go Twins and then just settle in for Long Kiss Goodnight.
With the action, so you won't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, man. We did it again.
We did. So that was fun. And we came in under an hour and 30 minutes this time. Good job. Good job. All right. So on the list, I mean, top of the list is Sing, I guess, right now, and Umbrella Academy. I think those are the two
Yeah,
things that are going to be, and The Boys, which we haven't talked about much because we went a little, we got all over it a couple weeks ago. Like, what else do we need to say? Uh, we'll get back into it when it's further. I think we'll do a full on thing for The Boys at some point
yeah,
next couple weeks.
sounds
It's
good.
awesome. All right, man. So that was fun.
Yeah,
All right, listeners, if you have any other comments or anything that you want to see us talk about, let us know.
yeah. Please do subscribe and leave a comment, like the video,
And
and
we're still working on getting a streaming, like a dedicated podcast streamer. We're trying to get that sorted. We're asking some folks around what they like. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks you'll have a dedicated streaming pod. So it's not on YouTube.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. It's just work.
Yeah. All right. With that said, I'm Francisco,
And I'm Andres.
and this is Put It on the List. We'll see you next week, guys.
Later.